Yeah.
Jack, you've just heard there from a Democratic congressman that the big, beautiful bill actually increased federal spending on law enforcement, the opposite of what you just said.
I think he's misspeaking. Donald Trump has done nothing to increase police budgets.
He's misspeaking.
Donald Trump doesn't really care.
I don't think he's
in
misspeaking.
Congress. He voted.
I think one person's misspeaking here, and it may be you. There is this raging argument now about whether it is constitutional, whether it is lawful for the President of the United States to do what Trump is now rolling out in places like Chicago. What is your view of that?
It's not only not legal, it's not only unconstitutional, but more importantly, it's not even good business.
If it's not legal or unconstitutional, then how exactly are they doing it, little bro?
Because this costs so much, putting federal troops in cities. Instead of that, if federal government can give the...
Instead of that, we should just cry and run rampant, destroying all of these cities and tearing families apart. Let's do that instead.
The grants so that local police, law enforcement can hire more people. Right now, they are severely understaffed. They don't have the resources they need to keep our cities safe.
Which is exactly why you should do what Trump is doing right now, wouldn't you say?
No, in a long-term process...
But aren't you answering your question? I mean, aren't you
I think you're
question?
making the point.
Right. I mean, in a way, what you just said is the rationale for doing it, isn't it? I mean, they're under-resourced. No. They don't have enough people. They can't control the crime. Donald Trump is recognizing this, and he's doing something about it. And I'm curious about how many regular Americans who live in some of these very crime-ridden inner cities in America are really as opposed to it as you sound like you are, because
they're thriving now, bro. All of these people who are living in the inner cities, have you seen the clips on the internet, bro? They're glazing Trump up and down, bro. They're jumping, they're doing tricks on him right now because their community is safer.
If you've got a lot of crime going on around you, and the police are woefully under-resourced, why would you object to seeing some troops on the streets to just try and restore order and perhaps send a real message to criminals?
See, putting military and reserves all over America, major American cities, and militarization of our country is not the solution. The solution is empower the local law enforcement, give them the funds that they need. It's the funding that needs to come so we can have a more long-term, long-lasting solution to it.
They already are in the big, beautiful bill.
Congressman, are you familiar with the Insurrection Act?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
And so what do you think that's for? You said that this was illegal. You said it was not unconstitutional and illegal for the federal government to send National Guard into cities and states.
You see his face right now? Yo, this boy's about to get cooked.
What do you think the Insurrection Act is for?
Well, look, this is a issue that the local government should be handling. It is this
no,
is
it's
an
the,
issue.
But
what is the answer to
I don't think you understand the insurrection.
Right, to Michael's.
Well,
let me just ask. I mean, Congressman, do you actually know what the Insurrection Act says?
Yes, but this is the.
Well, hang on. What does it say?
Well, look what we saw happen in January 6th in the Congress. That's insurrection.
Yo, this dude has no idea what he's talking about. Who elected, bro? How did this guy come into any position of power?
No, that's not the question. The question is, are you familiar? Obviously, the government is citing the Insurrection Act as the empowerment to do what it's doing. Are you familiar with what the Insurrection Act
Yes, I am. But
allows?
Look, this president has used all kinds of excuses to break the law. This president has used...
No, but that is the law. So what is the law, Congressman? You say you're familiar with the Insurrection Act, but you don't seem to be able to describe what it does, and you're actually contradicting it. So what do you think the Insurrection Act does?
Look, the issue here is that we need our cities safe. Americans want...
Look, it is Donald Trump. It is insurrection, January 6th. That is very wrong. Donald Trump is a very bad guy. Bro, if you don't shut the f up, bro, you don't have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, Congressman, with all due respect, that's not an answer to the question. I mean,
Michael, can you lay out what you believe allows Donald Trump to act?
Well, hang on.
Yo, NPC number 2 is trying to save NPC number 1. I don't think it's gonna go very much better for you too, buddy.
Jack, I'm going to come to you very shortly, but just to be clear, Congressman, it's a pretty simple question that Michael posed, which is the government are citing the Insurrection Act as the rationale and the legal tool by which they can do what they're doing. You said it's illegal and wrong and they shouldn't be doing it, but you seem to be struggling to explain what the Insurrection Act actually is. And Michael, quite rightly, is saying, well, can you just tell us?
Yo, you see bro's eyes. He's searching that shit up right now. Yo, what is the Insurrection Act?
Well, whatever it is, when the National Guards are picking up trash and the National Guards are watering flowers, that is not Insurrection Act, and that's not what this is meant to be.
But do you know what it is? The act.
Yeah.
What is it?
When there is an insurrection, the government has powers to use military, use reserve to address those situations. And this is clearly not the situation here. What we need to do is empower local law enforcement.
Okay, Micheal, your response to that. Data brokers track everything you do online. They sell your personal data to advertise. That's why I use this.
Yeah, I think the congressman might be a little bit confused because he said that the federal government is breaking the law by sending the National Guard in to restore order to the cities where crime has spiraled out of control, where there's obviously a violation of federal law with all of the illegal aliens running about, and that is actually what it's for. We have a federal government in order to step in when the local and state governments fail. And so this has been used many, many times, not merely to restore order if there's some violent revolution, but even, for instance, to desegregate schools. This has been used many, many times over the course of American history. There's nothing illegal about it. And in fact, what President Trump is doing right now is one of the clearest and most just uses of the Insurrection Act when you have cities that are failing, that in your own words, cannot enforce the law, are under-resourced, and are falling into disorder. So I think you've made a good argument for what President Trump is doing.
Okay.
Look what he's doing.
Let me bring in Jack. I want to bring in Jack. He's been waiting patiently.
This dude, Jack, has got to be one of the biggest dumbasses I've ever seen on Piers Morgan's show, based entirely on what he's going to say, how what he says gets proven wrong, and then how he doubles down on his lies despite knowing that he's wrong.
I mean, Jack, it seemed to me the congressman actually, maybe inadvertently, gave the explanation for why Trump feels justified in using the Insurrection Act. Because if you agree that the law enforcement in these very crime-ridden cities is failing and under-resourced, then why shouldn't the government use the Insurrection Act to put troops on the ground and try and restore proper order?
Well, because I don't think
Because we need to make sure crime is rampant in the cities, because I'm a white liberal, and I don't care what happens to minorities because they live far away from me, so it's best if I just appear as if I'm supporting them from a distance, while in reality what I'm saying is going to negatively impact them.
intention is to restore proper order. Donald Trump and his entire administration has made it clear that they'd be happy to see unrest come out of sending in the National Guard. That's what they wanted out of their attack on LA. That's what they wanted.
How fucking stupid do you have to be to say something like that on live television? In what reality would Donald Trump come out and say on the news in 4K in front of the entire world that, yeah, I'm deploying these troops within the city so they can cause chaos? Like, what a stupid fool, bro. Like, actually so dumb. His takes, by the way, YouTube, I'm talking about his takes, not him as a person.
To happen in DC. Donald Trump sees this as an
Do you have any evidence for that?
to intimidate people. It's come out directly of the administration that they think it is a win if they go into Portland and nothing happens, but nothing is happening. It's people in T-Rex Halloween costumes who are getting maced for simply exercising their First Amendment right, which, Michael, I thought you cared about. It doesn't really seem like that's the case. But they've also said that if there is
where are you getting that from? Hold on, before you make you made an argument.
I think if you would allow me to finish my
the
point,
Trump administration wants disorder and has admitted this.
What is bro talking about? Allow me to finish my point. Bro, you said something that's untrue. He's asking you, okay, where did you cite it from? And then you're saying, let me finish my point? Unless your point ends with, by the way, I was joking, bro, I didn't really mean that. This is a valid call out.
What's
you
your
don't like
evidence
to hear
for that?
people speak out, and now I'm delivering a point that you don't seem to like, and you want to silence me. That's what this administration does.
You want to silence me for something that I completely made up and that is untrue? How dare you, Micheal Knowles?
It's
No,
okay. You
I'm
don't
just
have the
asking
power
for
to
your
do that
evidence.
today.
Now, Jack,
You don't
to
have
be
the power
clear,
to-
you made a statement that the Trump administration actively wanted disorder, and Michael, I think, understandably,
it
because
has
I would
been
ask,
reported.
I would
It
ask the
has been
same thing.
reported.
Where,
It's been reported by some back of the woods bullshit ass new organization. Like, it's all good. Just because something has been reported doesn't exactly mean you should be echoing it without verifying it by yourself.
where is the evidence?
has been reported.
Where is the
It has
evidence that
been-
they wanted disorder?
It has been reported that this administration sees it as a win if
by
unrest
whom?
comes out of the deployment. It came out of Axios, that they see it as a win if there is unrest because of these deployments. Because they want to say, look at this hellscape in Portland, when all of the photos that I've seen are just like people in T-Rex costumes hanging out and going to the farmer's market. And if you really want to deploy the National Guard, Mike Johnson's district could certainly use it. These failing red states. If you want to talk about states that are failing, red states are failing. They need to be subsidized by California and New York, Massachusetts. These states, these Republican states that are being run into the ground, if you're talking about people who need aid and assistance, they're suckling off of California. It has nothing to do with the crime-ridden.
See, that's the thing with these kind of people. They're going to cite red states that are failing, and that to say like, oh, well, look at your states. Little bro, every state has their issues. You know what I'm saying? If Trump is trying to fix the issues of a blue state, that doesn't necessarily mean, well, let's let the red states fail as well. Bro, there's a lot of poverty in these middle America states, and that needs to get fixed as time goes on. So no, not every state is perfect, and we have to do things to fix all of these issues. And that's the thing. It's not a matter of politics. It's not a political matter. It's a matter of fixing the quality of life for the individuals who are within those states.
Failing blue states, it's a non-issue. And this politics
you think
of
there's
subtraction.
No crime in Chicago?
One second, Michael.
You think Chicago's
this politics of subtraction, where you think if you just take away and take away and take away, and we'll eventually hit a bottom.
And then they have these stupid ass terms on the left, politics of subtraction. These terms have no meaning to them. They're just talking points. Blue states have a really bad crime issue. Chicago, New York, California. All right, this isn't breaking news. As long as you have eyes and ears, you can see it. And as I just said, red states have their own problems too. What Trump needs to do as the president is fix all these problems in the unique way that they need to get fixed by.
It just doesn't actually exist as a real theory. If you thought that law enforcement was the answer to this problem, Donald Trump wouldn't be...
See, even he's like, what is bro chatting about?
Cutting the budget of police across the country to the tune of billions of dollars. Like, that wouldn't be happening.
So you don't really have to increase the law enforcement budget.
And this is where bro's career is finished. If anybody watches this dude after this clip, then you are actually an NPC. Really mean that, bro, because he gets destroyed so bad in this clip. Now you're actually a fool if you watch him after this.
First of all, that's not true. What just took place in his budget.
He did. That was the big beautiful bill. That was one of the key provisions of the big beautiful bill.
That is absolutely untrue. So you don't even have this like cogent theory of policing or law enforcement that you want to see carried out.
Your argument is that the
it's
big beautiful bill
intimidation.
did not increase law enforcement funding.
Notice, smile on his face, extremely confident, calling Knowles a liar by saying it's untrue with 100% pure confidence. Keep that in mind, okay?
Federal level.
Donald Trump has cut again and again.
Congressman, could you please clarify for our confused liberal friend here?
Yeah, we need to have a long-term solution to this, and that is only by reinforcing our local law enforcement. That's what we need to do.
Did the big beautiful bill increase federal law enforcement funding?
Again, the point, Congressman, is whether in the big beautiful bill there was an increase or a decrease in federal spending for law enforcement. Which one was it?
Well, there was an increase, but look.
Okay, so then again, I come back to Jack. So Jack, your fellow left winger on the panel has just contradicted you and said, "Well, hang on, Congressman, hang on."
Yeah.
Jack, you've just heard there from a Democratic congressman that the big beautiful bill actually increased federal spending on law enforcement, the opposite of what you just said.
So now you have one of two choices. You can either say, "Oh, you know what? I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that." And that's all you gotta say. You don't gotta say anything else. Or you could do number two. Double down on what you said, which was absolutely and irrefutably wrong, and make yourself seem like a big fucking fool. Let's see what he does.
I think he's misspeaking. Donald Trump has done nothing to increase police budgets.
He's misspeaking.
Donald Trump doesn't really care.
I don't think he's
in
misspeaking.
Congress. He voted.
I think one person's misspeaking here, and it may be you.
Your own boy has sided with your ops. And instead of saying, "Gee, I was wrong," you say, "Oh, he's misspeaking." This is why the left is so far gone, and you can't reason with these people. I got blackpilled so hard by seeing the way people reacted to Charlie Kirk's death, how they were celebrating and such. So when that happened, I truly realized that these people were way too far gone. But this is just another example where reality is in his face. It's in his face. Even his own side, a whole Democratic congressman, is telling him that he's wrong. And he has the audacity to say that he's misspeaking. These people cannot be reasoned with. As you can, I'm not trying to say that to blackpill you guys. I'm trying to fix, I want to fix the country, okay? But clearly these people can't be reasoned with.
It's not. There's nothing that Donald Trump has done to actually, one second, there's nothing that Donald Trump, the supposed back the blue guy, has done to support police in this country. He doesn't actually care. It's a gimmick. It's a game. Michael, I know you're familiar with that. It's fine. But Donald Trump doesn't care. If he did, he wouldn't have pardoned 1,500 cop-beating insurrectionists to go out and reoffend and refund. If you want to talk about crime in this country and who's being let loose on the streets, I think Donald Trump is allowing that to happen more than any other single person in this country. So I don't really know how you could make the case that this administration cares about policing, cares about crime, cares about law enforcement, when every action that they have publicly taken and celebrated is to the opposite of that argument, Michael.
Yeah, I guess there are very few things that Democrat congressmen and I agree on, but what Congress just did in President Trump's big, beautiful bill would happen to be one of them, and it's that he's increased federal law enforcement funding. So, I don't know where your confusion comes from, but it's manifest.
Well, I don't know how you're confused about Donald Trump's attack.
Well, I don't know how you're confused about the fact that I'm wrong and I'm doubling down on how I'm wrong.
On police officers across the country and his disregard for those who were attacked on January 6th.
Jack, look, to be clear, he either increased federal spending in that bill on law enforcement or he didn't. And it does appear from Michael and from a Democratic congressman that you're just wrong. So do you want to take an opportunity to maybe walk that back?
I do not know.
Piers Morgan, the master baiter, all right, the master rage baiter himself, has given bro a second opportunity to walk back his claims. Is he going to take it? Is he going to return to either step one? All right, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. It's all good. It happens to the best of us. No one's right all the time, and that's what makes us reasonable humans. Or step two, triple down, because you already doubled down. Triple down on being proven wrong. Let's see what bro does.
Well, you'd rather double down on a falsehood?
I think that I'm willing to double down on the fact that Donald Trump has made it difficult for police officers across this country to do their jobs, and he doesn't actually care about them. Right,
and would you be prepared to stake your entire professional reputation on the fact that he slashed federal spending on law enforcement in the budget?
Would I be willing to stake my entire reputation on the fact that Donald Trump has made it more difficult for law enforcement to do their job?
You made a very sweeping statement. This is the problem, you see. It's very easy to say Donald Trump has slashed federal spending on law enforcement. But if it turns out, as is the case, that it was the opposite and he's increased spending in his big, beautiful bill on federal spending on law enforcement, you should just have the good grace to go, I was wrong.
Well, I think if Michael is saying that there is not enough police spending and we need to send in, and militarize these cities. But I think the point is clear here, and it's one that we need to argue, which is whether or not Donald Trump has done anything to actually aid law enforcement, or if he's done anything
if he increased
to tackle
spending,
crime.
You would say that that is a good thing for the law enforcement, right?
I would say that Donald Trump's plans aren't coherent and don't make some cogent argument. Michael certainly doesn't make some cogent argument of how Donald Trump, who has let crime run free with his policy.
It sucks that people are like this, bro. Like, I don't know what the point of what he's saying is. Goal should be to fix an issue, not take what the other side is saying and demonize them to the point where it's completely blatantly untrue. It's like, what are you chatting about, bro? They literally just proved you wrong, and then now you're quadrupling down on it. This is madness, bro. Honestly, this is madness, and it just really goes to show you that you cannot reason with these people, bro. And it sucks, because this person can vote. This person is a fellow citizen. And as you can see in 4K, that he has been proven wrong on his take, and he's like, nah, I will take the reality, distort it, and believe that this is like 1984 shit. Anyways, bro, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.